Yeah, youngster, I'm glad you asked that question. Smoking Bert Cooper. Who is Smoking Bert Cooper? You probably don't know, right? Even though you might be a big MMA fan, the really, really big boxing fans will know. This man knocked down Evander Holyfield for the first time. This man almost beat Michael Moore, knocked him down twice. This man fought Ray Mercer in a brutal battle. This man had every bit the talent of Mike Tyson. And by the way, he was a Mike Tyson clone. He looked exactly like Mike Tyson. What was the difference between Bert Cooper and Mike Tyson? Well, I would give that Mike Tyson was taken from the New York streets and brought to the Catskills and taught how to be disciplined and how to box, that 6-7 years where Customato was alive changed his life. Bert Cooper stayed on the streets of Philadelphia and he found a mentor in Joe Frazier, but that might be your mentor, but you're still on the streets of Philly, right? Like you weren't brought up to this nurturing home in the Catskills where Customato and his life partner took care of you and everything else. So, Bert Cooper is the example of what happens. Now, what was Mike Tyson's record? Something like 56-6, right? Something like that. Cooper's was 30-30, right? Can you imagine? Bert Cooper, a guy who has every bit the talent of Mike Tyson, a guy who knocked down Evander Holyfield. Mike Tyson didn't do that, right? But this is the other side of the fight game that we don't talk about. And I always say the fight game is exactly like life, right? There's nothing fair about life. There's nothing fair about the fight game. Get that through your head right at the gate, right? This guy had every physical ability, every talent of Mike Tyson, but he didn't get that disciplined structure that made Mike Tyson, or that promotional machine that made Mike Tyson, right? Make no mistake about it. Mike Tyson was protected his first 20 fights. Almost lost to Quick Tillis. Bert Cooper wasn't protected. Bert Cooper got used and thrown out there by a lot of guys, his manager Johnny Boz and a lot of other people. But you know what? Guess what? The fight game, I always say, is like a street corner where the pimp and the prostitute and the drug dealer are all sitting there waiting for us, right? The manager, the trainer, the promoter, they're all versions of those same things. And it's one of the reasons that really attracts me to the fight game. My criminal life, has a lot of parallels. Obviously, everybody's waiting there to use you and manipulate you and take advantage of you. Why do you think, older guys really love young guys? They mentor them. But what does mentor really mean? They use them. They put them in positions where they can get the best out of them. And poor Bert Cooper died of cancer, if I'm not mistaken, not that long ago. But what a fighter, man. All the power and strength of Mike Tyson. And the boxing world didn't know it at the time. They said, hey, Cooper's weaker and smaller than Tyson, not as good. Well, the reality was Cooper was everything Tyson was. What he didn't have was that background. And that's called life, man. That's why I don't judge people. That's why I believe in second chances. I mean, it is what it is. Everybody read my book, Warrior of the Life.